Hello, we are live. I'm excited to be here. Hello, we are live. Okay, so today we will be talking on careers in marketing, everything you need to know. And we are glad to have among us Latoya Duffus from Microsoft. Latoya has a 5 year experience in marketing, and sincerely, it's going to be awesome today. I'm bringing her on board now. Hi,
Hi, morning
Morning,
everyone.
everyone.
good morning. How are you doing? I hope you had a nice day.
Yes, doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well too. Welcome on board.
Happy to be here.
Oh, that's great. Where are you calling from? I'm calling from Nigeria, and you?
hmm
That's awesome. So we'll be talking about careers in marketing and all that is needed to know. So briefly, can you just tell us about yourself?
Okay, well, a little bit about me. Emmanuel did a short and sweet introduction there. My name is Latoya Duffus. I work for Microsoft and I sit in Jamaica. So I am coming to you today from Jamaica. It's 10 o'clock here. Uh, I hold a Bachelor of Arts in Integrated Marketing Communication from the University of the West Indies. I'm a lover of the arts, nature. I'm the kind of person who, right now in the pandemic, I'm a little bit stir crazy because I miss going outside. I miss, going on hikes and stuff like that. Um, yeah, that's pretty much the short of it, Isika. Yeah. My career in marketing, I don't know if you want me to just get started on that to let you know how I got to where I am right now.
Oh, that's awesome. Please go ahead. You have the table.
All right, great. So, my career path, I believe, though short, is very indicative of someone who is determined, someone who knows what they want and go for it. I started out as a campaign manager back when I was actually in university. So during that last year of university, I managed a campaign where I had a team working on different parts of that campaign. And then from there, I was also a communication intern working with the Shipping Association of Jamaica. I then moved on to becoming a communication assistant. And then I became a product marketing intern at Microsoft. And from there, I left from an internship at Microsoft to this marketing specialist position. Now, a lot of people, they see internships, especially leaving university, we see internships as kind of lower level, right? I know when I left university, a lot of people were looking for the entry level jobs. They were looking to start their career basically. So they kind of frowned upon internships. However, you have to weigh your pros and cons when it comes to those types of things, because if a company like Microsoft comes up, you know that it's not just the internship that you're going to be getting. It's not just that experience, it's the network that you're going to be building. So I actually chose that internship over a secure government job that I was offered, right? At the time, my parents were saying, hey, you could take this government job. There are so many benefits. There are so many things that you could do. But I said to myself, I have to weigh the pros and cons, especially I was just leaving university. I had to think about, okay, I'm young. There will be time to get a more secure job, as they would say. So I weighed my pros and cons and what I was able to do, where I was to make that decision. So, some persons can't make that decision because of the situation they're in, but you always have to kind of just think about where you are at and evaluate that in order to know what is the best decision for you. So I chose that internship over a very secure, probably long-term government job. And as we see now, it has led me down this path where I am actually now the marketing specialist. I manage a few markets here in the Caribbean. So there's Jamaica, Trinidad, and a whole bunch of other English-speaking Caribbean countries. And I've gotten so much exposure. I've met so many people. I've been a part of dialogues with CEOs, very high level executives. And that is something that honestly I could not have had if I had decided that I wouldn't take an internship because, I have my degree and, oh, I need to go do this and I need to make sure that my next position is, some big job. So I took that internship, and from there I have grown. I have tried to use the resources that became available to me through the internship, right? And that's how I ended up where I am now. I was always very self-motivated, but at the same time, we also have to have an open mind, right? We always have to look to not only deliver in our jobs, but also to add value wherever we can. So that is me. That is how I got to where I am. I wouldn't say I am anything too special. Of course, there are many things that I could be good at, but I do believe that determination and, the constant reminder that you're here to add value and not just to deliver, that is always the driving force, and that got me to where I am today. So that is me in a nutshell. That is how I got to where I am in my career. As I said, it's a pretty short career so far, but I've learned so much, and I'm just very happy that Emmanuel invited me here to share with you, because I know a lot of young people are looking to other young people to understand how we got where we are and wondering if there's any special road or anything, extraordinary that we did. So I'm very glad to share my story here with you today.
Wow, that was an awesome one. Sincerely, I love the story. So can you tell me why you chose marketing as a career path? Because most people want to go into programming, some want to go into other tech-related role, but why marketing?
Okay. It's funny that you mentioned programming because actually I wanted to be a programmer, but life led me down a different path. I think the last few years of high school, the computer science thing wasn't working out. So I had to kind of revisit, what it is that I wanted to do with my life. I mentioned earlier that I'm a lover of the arts. So I knew that whatever I was going to do, it had to be something creative. It didn't have to be purely creative like becoming an artist, but I know that it had to be something where I could put in some creative energy. So, when I started really going down the path of investigating what I wanted to do with my life, I was looking up different careers and there were different things that came at me. But then the marketing course that I ended up doing, integrated marketing communication, when I read through the course outline and saw the different areas, I thought that would work for me, because what it is marketing is basically creative strategy planning, right? In a nutshell, that's what it is. Because marketing supports a sales organization, right? It supports us making sure that our companies can sell whatever products or services that they have, right? But it also involves coming up with creative ways to reach your audience, because you can't just push products like that, right? So when I looked through the curriculum for integrated marketing communication, I saw where I could apply my creative thinking. I saw where I could apply my attention to detail. I saw where I could apply my planning skills. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna take the jump and go there. So for me, marketing was not the first choice. It was not something that I woke up and I know that, hey, this is what I wanted to do. But when I really sat down and went through, the different courses available and what they would involve, I did kind of a self-assessment and said, this actually sounds like something that would be great for me. This is where my skills would apply, and I could get creative with it. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the show Mad Men. I'm a big fan of Mad Men, and in Mad Men, it follows the main character Don Draper, who's a creative director at a huge advertising firm, and I would watch Mad Men, and I would just dream of being like Don Draper, because Don Draper had campaigns running on every TV station, on the radio. He won awards for, his creative ideas and seeing through those things. So I always thought, hey, I want to do that. I want to be a name in advertising. I want to be a name in marketing. I want to be the person who creates those campaigns that, you see on TV, the ones that as you mentioned, and people are like, oh yeah, I've seen that. So stuff like that really resonated with me, and it really fueled my drive for marketing. That's really how I came to this. So it went from programmer to just being completely confused, knowing that, I wanted to do something creative, but I still wanted something structured, and marketing really stood out to me. So, I would say to anybody who is, looking down the line for a career path and what they want to do, you need to understand, what it is that you love, what are the skills that you have, what it is you're interested in, and then you go on to the different sites or whatever it is, and you look up those careers and you see what it involves, and then you just do that kind of self-assessment and that research to understand where you want to go. So that's pretty much what I did. That's how I ended up in marketing. So I don't know if there's anything else, any questions that anyone had based on what I said.
Sincerely, that's an interesting one. But during the course of the presentation,
Sorry, I didn't hear that one.
okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great. I said during the course of the presentation, you said you did not know what you want to venture into, so you just research on it and chose marketing. So how were you able to discover your passion? Like, can you just give it from that?
Okay, how I was able to discover my passion?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like I said, it's kind of doing a self-assessment. Like I said, I was not somebody who, all right, so for myself, I know that I wanted to do something creative, right? And then I put that down. I put down what skills I had. Discovering my passion, it honestly happened when I started doing the work. So when I started the course and we started doing campaign planning and all of that stuff, it would have been, back in 2012, thereabout. We started doing campaign planning, and then I realized I was doing a lot of the things that I said I loved from watching Mad Men, right? So, in actually doing the things, I realized that this is what I love. This is what I really want to do. I really loved and enjoyed the idea of understanding your audience, right? Figuring out what it is that will move the needle a little bit from, them just seeing something to them actually wanting to go out and find out more information, and then from there wanting to actually purchase something. I love the idea of psychology as well, and I think marketing also includes that, because you have to understand different types of people in order to understand your audience, right? So in doing that self-assessment, I realized that, these are the things that I love, but I really discovered my passion when I took the step to, do this course. And then in the course, we started doing the campaign planning and the advertising and all that stuff. And then that's where I saw that, this is really something that I love. When I eventually started working at Microsoft and, having gained the exposure and the experience that I did there, it just cemented for me that, this is what I want to do. So finding my passion is something that happened over time. It didn't happen all at once, right? So it happened when I first did the exercise of, doing my self-assessment, right? And then it happened again when I started doing this course and doing the things that I always said, hey, I would love to try this. I found it again. And then, in doing my job every day, we pull off some really pretty amazing things. And, it just it just emphasizes, that you're here for the right reasons. This is really what you want to do. And so I keep finding my passion I find my passion in a lot of different things and in a lot of different ways. So that has been my journey in terms of, reigniting my passion. Let me say that, because I found it when I did my self-assessment and I understood what marketing was about. And then as the years went on, I just continued to feel the love. I just continued to love what I do. And that's where you know that this is a passion for you, because you don't feel drained doing it. You get up and you're excited to go to work, you're excited to plan this campaign. You know that this is something that you love. So for me, that is how I found my passion. Just make sure you sit down and be honest with yourself about what it is that you want to do. Really explore different areas when you're looking at the courses. Again, make sure that you look at the different modules that are there, and then if you don't know what those modules are about, ensure that you look it up. We have information at our fingertips with the internet, so just do that exercise, and then whatever makes you stop and say, hey, this is interesting, kind of deep dive into that a little more so that you can really explore different areas. And I think that is how you find your passion, just exploring. And when something clicks, that, this is probably it. You explore that, and then, that's how that went for me. And I think that would be a great exercise for anyone who is actually looking to figure out their career and find their passion.
Oh, thank you so much. Passion is very necessary in order for individual to excel in their career. Thank you for that. Um, Down to the next question. What are the possible careers in marketing and the skills required by them?
Okay. So, I mean, there are so many possibilities in marketing, especially now that we are moving into a digital world. Gone are the days of traditional marketing only, where you're putting ads on TV, or you're, putting up billboards, you're running campaigns in person. Those days are, of course, after the pandemic, we'll still do a lot of those in-person type marketing activities and events, but the world has shifted so much. There are so many more possibilities, especially in the digital marketing space. So, there's jobs like market research analyst. That is great for people who, they like to understand trends, right? So a market research analyst is somebody who would have to have knowledge about sales trends. They would have to have knowledge about, the competitors in the industry. They do research on consumer behavior. And then that is what they use to help support the marketing organization in making sound decisions. So a market research analyst is one career that you can do in marketing. The skills it requires really is being analytical and detailed. Some amount of psychology in the parts where, you have to understand your audience. So that's something that you can look into. For all the careers that I'm going to mention, I would suggest that, we go online. Again, I am a big advocate for, searching for things on the internet. I'm not going to say Google it because I'm with Microsoft. So we can Bing these things, right? You can, whatever search engine you use, just look up, careers in marketing, and I'm pretty sure there'll be some great results on what you can do and what skills are required. So I mentioned marketing research analyst. There's also, especially now in the digital age, we have something called search engine optimization. You might see a lot of that when you're looking at digital marketing. And basically what that is, you want to optimize the search results so that people can find your business and your product when they search for certain keywords, right? So you want your business to come up first among the many, 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 many services that are offered in the global marketplace, right? People who are who manage search engine optimization, you figure out how to make even like your website and all the offerings that you have there more prominent when people search for different keywords. And it's not necessarily keywords that are direct to your business, right? So search engine optimization is another career path in marketing. And And that also requires attention to detail. It requires some technical skills. There are lots of courses that you can do to acquire these types of technical skills. I would say that, again, just look up these careers, and then you will get a list of exactly what you need and the kind of certifications that you can do to get into this career. Then you have like digital marketing analyst, which is similar to the market research analyst, except this is how to figure out your online strategy, right? Yeah, these people, they examine statistics and they make recommendations based on, the statistics that they find on how to improve your different marketing efforts, whether it is what you're doing on social media or your website or whatever online branding you have. Your digital marketing analysts, they go through that type of information. It's very data heavy, so it has so people who do these kinds of job have to be people who like to analyze information, right? So, and with that information, because again, we are in a digital age, you need to have information in order to make, informed decisions. So that's what, a digital marketing analyst would do. Again, there are so many careers in marketing. You have graphic design, social media management, you can be a brand manager, you can be a product marketing manager. It's extensive, the list of things that you could do, so many. So the idea behind, careers in marketing, I would say, if you have the chance, please just go online and look up, simple as it seems, just look up careers in marketing and you will get some information. I can actually share with Emmanuel a link to some LinkedIn information, some free courses, which give you access to doing that course and getting certified in different things, but it also exposes you to different careers in marketing. So I'm going to send that to Emmanuel afterwards so that he can share in the comments or share with you via email. And you can have a look at that and see what each of these jobs entail. Because sometimes you think, oh, I want to be a graphic designer, right? But then, you're thinking, oh, it's just the creative part and I just need to learn Photoshop and all of that. But then when you really get into the nitty gritty, you might realize that, okay, I have to learn Photoshop and then I have to learn Premiere and I have to learn all these different things. This is not necessarily what I want to do, right? But then you might look at a social media manager, right? And you say, okay, so if I am a social media superstar, I would want to be the person creating content. I would have a little graphic design skills, but I wouldn't have to go too deep into all the different stuff, right? I would be able to interact with people on social media, come up with creative concepts, and then you realize that, this is actually better for me than just graphic design. So again, I mentioned earlier that you have to do a self-assessment, you have to do some research, you have to understand where you want to go and what you like to do in order to know which career in marketing works best for you, because the list is extensive. It is so many things. So we have to kind of just understand what the different careers are. And you asked me, what skills are required. Overall, generally for marketing, the skills required is attention to detail, organization, strong communication skills, planning skills, many things, but those are 4 that I could think of top of mind that you need for any career in marketing. So if there's any specific career that you can think of, just look it up online. Again, I'm going to share with Emmanuel that LinkedIn learning path with different courses so that you can look at them and you can see the outline of what you would need to be a social media manager, what you would need to be a graphic designer, all those different things, so that you can put your skills to each of these careers to understand what it is that you want to do. Because the list of things in marketing, again, so many things, and with going digital, there are so many more things. We have events online, knowing how to run a StreamYard event, a Zoom event, a Microsoft Teams event. You could become an online event manager. There are so many possibilities. So don't confine yourself to thinking about marketing as just promotions or just branding. It involves so much more. It involves some project management, all of those things. So I'm going to share the link with Emmanuel, and you can look through it and you can see exactly what skills are needed for what careers.
That was, so, Thank you so much. And I'm sure they are expecting the link. So, can you tell us what your day-to-day activity at Microsoft is like, and even as a marketer?
All right, so day to day in Microsoft. Microsoft is a huge organization, so the day to day changes. But generally, I'm working with, I think, about three sets of people. I'm working with the sales team, I am working with the digital marketing team, and I am working with the communications team. So you might be thinking, oh, but you're a marketer, so there's also a separate digital marketing team and a separate communication team. Yes, because a lot of organizations, they kind of roll this into one. But with an organization like Microsoft, these things are separated and they're given they're given the attention that they need because they really are different job functions, right? So as a marketing specialist, as a marketing executive managing the regions I manage, I need to oversee all the marketing and communication activities that happen. But I'm going to need the support of that digital marketing team for social media, for paid media ads, for search engine optimization. I need that team to be focused on that. And then the communication aspect, in terms of any kind of PR that we need to do, the communication team stays on top of that because I can't possibly do all of that. In smaller organizations, they might bundle this all together, so you might have to be multi-skilled. But for me, on a day-to-day, I have to deal with those teams to get stuff done. Let me see now. So how things work for me on a day-to-day is I work in a business to business marketing environment, right? So it's not a business to consumer environment. And what I mean by that is my job is marketing to other companies, other businesses, right? So in doing that, things are a little different than marketing to consumers. So for instance, if I was a marketer at Coca-Cola, I would of course be needing to understand consumer behavior on the individual level, right? But in doing business to business marketing, we are looking at an organization and how we sell to that organization. So how my day to day goes is I have let me walk you through maybe like a week or 2 weeks, in the role at Microsoft. I would meet with the sales team and understand what their targets are, what it is that they want to achieve. Because again, marketing supports sales. We are helping people to sell. We are helping our company to sell. So we understand what the sales team needs, and then from there, I build out a strategy. I build out a strategy that involves digital marketing, that involves communication, it involves event execution, and I build that out end to end. Now, in building out that strategy, I have to plan and then I have to plan for execution. So with that, whatever I am doing, I will need to tie everything together. So if I'm coming up with a strategy to, for instance, let me put a scenario in front of you in terms of, let's say we want to sell more Xboxes, right? So if you want to sell more Xboxes, we have to come up with a campaign to target people who don't have Xboxes. We have to come up with a campaign for people who have Xboxes, but we want them to upgrade. And then we have to look at those audiences separately. When we do that now, and I come up with that strategy, I have to incorporate the digital marketing because I have to now incorporate how we're going to run this campaign through social media, how we're going to execute paid advertising on the different platforms so that we can reach different people, how we're going to target these different people online. And then I have to deal with the communication team. Are we going to do a press release on this? Are we going to do some type of interview with our general manager so that people can hear that Xbox, whatever series we're at now, that is available and that is available in the market. So I have to put all those pieces together on my day to day. I'm also dealing with suppliers, and those suppliers are, event management suppliers. They are suppliers who provide me with gift items for our customers. I'm managing sponsorships, I'm managing advertising, I'm managing general day-to-day stuff in marketing. So I oversee all of that. I manage the overarching strategy. Sometimes I'm doing project management in my day-to-day, because in everything that I'm planning and in every strategy, we have to understand what we're gonna do and by when, right? And then working in the technology industry, things change so rapidly. So as soon as the technology changes, our strategies have to change, and that is something that at Microsoft is it keeps us on our feet, right? Things are changing rapidly. We have to move very quickly. We have to do what is called modern marketing, which involves, you can't just have a plan and you have to see it through from point A to Z. Sometimes you get to point C and you have to shift and you have to just make a spin and you have to come up with a new strategy, right? You have to be reactive. We are proactive in terms of we're planning things and we have our plans and we have our projects and we have every step and every milestone. But then we also have to understand that as things change, we have to change. So it involves a lot of quick thinking, a lot of on the spot changes. It involves a lot of management of people, people's emotions, people who are working with you. It involves a lot of that. So my day to day is very complex. It involves all of those things every day. You have a different moving part, managing different campaigns, different events, different, things now are online. And so we're doing so much more because everyone is online, everything is online. Every day there is a different event online. So we have to figure out ways how we can reach people that will make them want to interact with us. We have to make it attractive to people. We have to come up with new strategies every day to make things more attractive to people who are, people are fatigued with being online every day. So my day to day is kind of just pivoting and making sure that if I have this strategy and it's not working out, I need to pivot and I need to come up with something else that is going to, see us through to our end goal. So that is what I do on a day to day. I communicate with those three different teams to make sure that we have an integrated plan. And with that, we just plan and execute as per the plan. So that is my day to day. I'm in charge of a lot of funds. So, I'm also managing a budget, keeping track of that to make sure that you're not overspending. You're given certain budgets for the year, for the quarter, for 6 months. We have to be very, very intentional about how we spend that money because we have to report back to the business. So on a daily basis, these are the many different moving parts that I am working with. And that is how, things are at Microsoft. Every day is something different. Every day it's something new, but it's exciting because I learned so much. I am not a techie person in terms of understanding all the technology, but by virtue of being in this environment, I learned so much from the sales team who are selling the different products. I learned so much from the digital marketing team because I was trained in traditional marketing, right? So in an environment like Microsoft, I have the opportunity to learn from so many different people with so many different skills. So my daily stuff just involves a lot of learning, a lot of, thinking on my feet, changing as things go. So that is how it is in my day to day.
Thank you so much. That's really useful. Also, I would love to ask about what will you say about getting hired? Now, what do our viewers need to know? As a student, what do they need to know about preparing in order to get hired, even as a marketer? Or what are the things they need to do?
So to get hired, not just as a marketer, but as a general rule, we need to make sure that first of all, we keep our resumes updated, and then in keeping them updated, we also need to make them attractive. So gone are the days when we could just type out 5 pages of of qualifications in a Word document No one is going to look at that and be intrigued by that. So we have to find creative ways of getting people's attention from the get-go. So in building your resume, make sure that you are making it attractive. There's lots of tools online that can help you. Yeah, lots of tools online that can help you in terms of making your resume attractive. I don't know if you've ever heard of tools like Canva, but they have great templates for resumes. And what we also get from those templates is that it helps to reduce the amount of pages on your resume because it summarizes the information, and the layouts allow the information to be captured within like 1 page or 2 pages. So first thing I would say is, of course, update and keep your resume updated, right? In that same resume, we also need to play up our skills, right? And not just your hard skills, like, for instance, the graphic designer. Of course, you should be skilled in Photoshop. Everybody coming out of school who wants to be a graphic designer should be skilled in Photoshop, right? So you need to play up your soft skills. So, whether it is teamwork, or you have great customer service skills, you're a great communicator, that you also write and stuff like that. We need to play up our soft skills, because in leaving school, a lot of people are going to be leaving with the same hard skills. So we need to ensure that we play up those soft skills so that people know that they're not just going to be getting someone who, okay, yeah, they know how to design a flyer, but do they have people skills? Could they become an account manager because, they're able to interact with people and maintain and build relationships? So you have to think like that when you're updating your resume. If you are past the point of a resume and now you have probably gotten a call back, you have an interview coming up, you need to, again, I said this before, but you need to do your research, right? You need to make sure that you know about the company that you're going to. A lot of times we apply for jobs in silos, right? So we see that, hey, this graphic design job is available at this company. And you're like, okay, I want to be a graphic designer. I want this job. It looks like something I could do. Yes, but now you need to understand the company that you are going to be applying to. You need to understand their culture. You need to understand what they're about, their objectives, right? So that when you go into that interview, you're not clueless as to what they do, and you're just like, oh, well, I'm here to design stuff. I don't need to know much about, anything else, but you do. You do. So do your research on the company. Make sure you know what they're about. Make sure you know who are, the managing directors. Make sure you know the team, right? Especially, you won't know the whole team, but make sure you kind of do your research to see who is on the board, who would be the general manager, that sort of thing. So the high level executives, make sure you can drop a name in there or so. So do your research on the company, because for sure they'll be doing their research on you. They'll probably be checking out your LinkedIn, which is another thing as well. So they'll be doing their research on you. So make sure that you do your research on the company. I mentioned LinkedIn. So similar to your resume, keep your LinkedIn updated. Make sure that you have the latest information there. Be careful how you present yourself there as well. Make sure you speak in terms of achievements. What I mean by that is not just say that you have, these are the tasks that you completed while doing this job. Speak about some of the successes that you've had in this role. Speak about what you were responsible for. So if you are responsible for growing the market from 10% to 50%, you need to speak about that and how you managed to do that. A one line or just saying, I was responsible for this and I was able to do it in this amount of time, so that it's easy to understand, it's easy to digest. Gone are the days when people just look at the things that, you're supposed to do. So like you would say, I was supposed to write press releases, I was supposed to do this, I was supposed to do that. Okay, sure, we know what the role entails, but tell us how you made an impact there. So that goes for both your LinkedIn and your resume. Getting hired also involves, building a good network. And that can be done on LinkedIn. Right now we're online, so it's honestly much easier to get in touch with people because we have access to them at our fingertips, right? So that is something to think about, building the right network. You know, Emmanuel reached out to me on LinkedIn. Emmanuel didn't know me, but he knew that, hey, this person is doing marketing at one of the top Fortune 500 companies in the world. Let me see if I can speak to her and get her to come to this conference. And that is how we started our relationship. We have access to almost anyone that we want to reach out to. So take the step of kind of building that network. If there is someone doing that job that you know that you would want to do eventually, see if you can reach out to them and, you know, say, hey, you know, I'm looking to become a digital marketing expert. I see that you have this type of experience. Would you be open to having a conversation with me? Or, you know, just kind of feel your way around, because a lot of people on LinkedIn are actually very much open to mentoring and to sharing their expertise with you. So try to build your network as we go. You know, we're going through the pandemic now and we're online, but when we get out of the pandemic and we go back to normal, right? You go to events, you meet people, make sure you keep those contacts, make sure that you're sharing information with them that, you know, they're interested in. It should be a mutually beneficial relationship. So network, that can help you to get hired as well. Let me see. In marketing, if you want to get hired in marketing, I would say try to have a working knowledge of the different areas of marketing. So I was trained in traditional marketing, but I have to have a working knowledge of digital marketing. I have to understand how search engine optimization works. I have to understand how paid media ads work. I have to understand how buying ads on TV works, right? I am not necessarily doing them in my day-to-day because I oversee those entire processes, but I have to have a working knowledge of how that works, right? So that is my advice in terms of getting hired. Also practice and prepare. So if you're going to be doing an online interview, open your webcam, you know, research some questions and answer them and see how you interact online. See how you are, you know, you have your webcam on, see your body language, see your posture, see your expressions, and practice, right? Practice and see where you can improve on things. I'm also going to share with Emmanuel a LinkedIn resource that can help you with practicing for interviews and preparing for those types of things. It has practice questions, you know, some of the major questions that are usually asked during interviews. It speaks about, you know, your posture, how you exude confidence, all of that stuff. So I'm going to share that with Emmanuel so that you guys can have that information to help you prepare once you get past the point of, you know, the resume and, you know, you got that call back and now you have the interview. I'm going to share that information so you know what are the next steps and what you do in the interview. So in essence, getting hired, it's really a mix of making sure that you have your resume and your LinkedIn updated, make sure that they're attractive, speak about your achievements, please brag about your achievements, because if you don't, who will? And if you don't, who's going to know, right? So talk up your soft skills, make sure that you emphasize those things, because a lot of people can do Photoshop. A lot of people would say they are sellers, but you need to talk about your customer service management skills. You need to talk about, you know, how you work with teams. Those types of things are what employers are increasingly looking for, because a lot of people leave university with the same hard skills. So try to play up your soft skills. Make sure you practice, make sure you prepare by doing your research, make sure you know about the company, and build a strong network, right? So those are some of the top things I would say in terms of getting hired. Those are things to start. When I share with Emmanuel the LinkedIn resource, you will have more information on, you know, questions that are frequently asked and how you can, you know, the best types of responses to those questions. And I think that will help you to prepare for an interview. So that's it on getting hired. Yes, I see that comment. Brag about your achievements.
Wow, that's exciting. So, what about your achievements? If you don't, who will? And if you decide not to, who is going to will? You know, some people always say they don't want to be proud of life, so they don't talk about what they do. but they don't. Not talking about what you do online is equivalent to people not saying it. So that's awesome. Thank you for that. And I would also love to ask about how the average salary of a marketer looks like. Is it an attractive one? Should people venture into it because of the pay? So let's hear from you. Thank you.
Yeah, so salaries in marketing can be very attractive depending on what you decide to do. Similar to everything else, it's a conversation about supply and demand. So, for instance, if you have a graphic designer might make about 45,000 US dollars a year, right? And then you would have somebody like a product marketing manager would make maybe like $90,000 a year, 90,000 US dollars a year. And that disparity is really due to that supply and demand, right? So graphic designers, great. You will love them. They make things beautiful and they put out what we need the audience to see, right? But so many people are graphic designers. If a graphic designer leaves a company today, tomorrow, or even the same day, they can find another graphic designer, right? It's not to say that that skill is expendable or that you shouldn't venture into doing it, but you have to understand that if that is going to be your only focus, you're putting yourself into a box, right? So you have to think about the supply and demand. So whereas the graphic designer is in high, you have a lot of supply is up here, and demand is maybe here, right? You have the product marketing manager, which requires a certain special skill set. They need to be very versed and very informed on a particular service or a particular product. It is kind of a niche area that, you know, you're not going to find that a lot of people know about this thing or can speak extensively to this thing, who can deep dive into this thing. There is going to be less skills in that area. So then you're going to want to pay more for people who can do that, people who have that knowledge of that particular product or service. So then now you have a demand that is up here for product marketing managers. So if you want I say I do business to business marketing for Microsoft. And again, that involves our company selling to other companies. So we sell like cloud services and, you know, stuff like Office. We have Office 365 for companies. We're selling stuff like that. So if it is that you want an Office 365 product marketing manager, that person needs to know Office 365 inside and out, upside down. They need to know it back way, front way. They need to know everything about it. And to invest in that one particular thing is not usually cheap. So at the end of the day, the few people who invest in knowing that particular product and knowing that particular thing, they will have a skill that is not you know, something that everyone has. So people pay more for that. So the salaries for different marketing roles, they vary across the different positions. They vary across, you know, different regions. You guys are in Africa, so even though I mentioned that, you know, a graphic designer might get paid 45,000 US dollars a year in the US, of course, as you know, based on region, that might change because different cost of living. So for your specific region and area, I would suggest, of course, going online and trying to see if you can find local information so that you understand what someone in these different roles will get paid locally. But at the end of the day, we have to look at supply and demand. We have to look at where there's need for certain roles. And then that is where we can focus our energies in order to get, you know, the higher range of the salaries. You know, of course, you have those different roles that I mentioned, a marketing research analyst, social media manager, all of those things. And then as you progress in the marketing field, you might become a marketing manager, which is what I do across the different markets that I work with, right? You might become a marketing manager, and then you'll have a chief marketing officer, you'll have a marketing lead and a marketing director. So it gets, of course, the salaries increase as you go up the ladder. And in order to go up the ladder, you need to have a working knowledge of how the entire marketing organization works. So the traditional marketing, the digital marketing, the communication piece, you need to understand those things and how they work together. You need to have experience in those things in order to move up. You need to understand business and strategy and relationships in order to continue to grow and to move further up. Sorry about that, to move further up in the marketing field. So that is what I would say in terms of the salaries. Ensure that you try to find out what is, what the salaries would be in your specific region, because it really varies according to the different job functions as well as the different markets that you are in and that you are serving.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
It's really amazing. Okay, so just to recap everything we said so far, we talked about what a career in marketing stands for. We were privileged to hear about your career life and about your reason for going into marketing, how one can discover his or her passion. We also spoke about possible careers in marketing and what skills are required. Then we brushed on everyday life of a marketer and general trend of marketing. The last but not least, we spoke about the how to place yourself in order to get hired, even as a marketer and even in the general sense. And lastly, we talk about the average salary of a marketer. It's awesome. Thank you so much for coming on board and sharing with us your wealth of knowledge. It's a
No
privilege.
problem, no problem. I think it's a great thing you're doing here, and thank you so much for inviting me.
Great. So, do you have a word or two for our audience out there? Just a final word for them. What will you say to the students, to those looking to start early career in marketing and even in other field? All right, everyone. Okay, I hope you got that. You are muted.
Oh, sorry about that. Were you asking me another question?
Yeah, I was saying, do you have a word or two for our audience out there? What will you say to motivate them into going deep into marketing? Just a final word for them.
Final word. My final word to anyone looking to going into marketing would definitely be, explore the different areas before you jump in and decide that you want to do one thing. Make sure that you understand, the options that are out there. Don't tie yourself to one particular thing before knowing what it is that it involves. I stressed a lot earlier, do your research. I strongly believe that is how you can help yourself to figure out what it is you want to do, right? You have the internet at your fingertips. Even if you don't have easy access to it, when you do, make sure that you're spending that time wisely doing research and assessing yourself as to where you are, what you want, and the steps that it will take to get there. So my final word is you can do anything that you want to do. Make sure that you use your network, you do your research, and that way you will be able to create a plan for your life and you will be able to, follow that plan to get to where you want.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Truly, one can do anything which one wants to do. Thank you for that. And it's awesome having you here. All right. Thanks for coming on board. Bye. Bye, everyone. Thank
Thanks for
you.
having me.
All right.